Hello, hello. Welcome to Mindset to Results. And our guest is Allen Frantz. And Allen is a divorce coach. He helps entrepreneurs, people who went through divorce, to reinvent themselves and find happiness. And also, Allen went, he ran 100 miles. That is showing that Alan is a champion. Yes, not many people can run 100 miles. So it is always good to combine success in business, good relationship, and also being in great shape, because when we do sport, when we take care of our health, mental, physical, this is how we build success in all the areas. Hi, Alan.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And
You,
I'll just say one thing. You mentioned not everyone can run 100 miles. And I think one of the reasons that I took on that challenge is to show that I think anyone can do it. I think humans do it, and I'm a human, you're a human. It can be done. That's it.
yes, right. I would paraphrase that don't not everyone runs 100 miles usually. Yes.
There you go. Not everyone thinks in that way. And I think that is
Yes.
maybe at the heart of what we're getting to here.
Yes, because it is, of course, if you put intention for anything, you can do that. Yes, because what you can see in your mind, you can achieve. Yes, there are so many reasons to see it, because so many people do things which look like unbelievable, but they can do that. But
Because they didn't do it all at once.
yes, yes, it is. It takes, if you set the goal, of course, if you start preparing, even like participating in marathon, right? You can set that goal. You start running every day, certain number of miles, and then you achieve that. Yeah, so it is that not everyone does that. Yes, and this is what
Mhm.
we meant. So it is really good to see. I like to interview people who are active and successful in different areas. Yes, this is how it shows that people can be successful in different areas. Not that if you want to do something and succeed in business, then you have to sacrifice your health or well-being or relationship. And this is what we will speak today about: how to be successful in business, because our audience is mostly driven business owners, entrepreneurs who know that they're here for more. They don't want to accept average. Yes, they want to have more and do more. And also how to have a beautiful relationship which contribute to happiness and success.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about your story. How did you come to this your passion to be divorce coach and helping people to reinvent themselves, to find their happiness, to attract right people, communities, or partners in their life?
Sure. I've been an outdoor guide for 25 plus years, and most of that was working with teenagers. I owned a business where we traveled all around the country here in the US, taking teens out on summer programs to build the grit, to be able to see a vision of themselves that was bigger than what they currently were. And the value in doing hard things, I think, is something that we taught all the time. And so in doing that work, I had a lot of adults asking, so when are you going to start taking adults? And I would always joke with them. Um, Somewhere along the way, I gave up a career in mountaineering. I decided that that was not a responsible thing to do, having young children. And that led to what I think was a series of compromises in my first marriage, where I gave away little pieces of myself. And so as one does when they give away pieces of themselves and stop fully being who they are. I became a little bit resentful, and lots of things happened. The marriage didn't work. So, if fast forward, I was reconnecting with my athletic background, running 100 miles, for example, and was invited on a trip to Mount Rainier. And my girlfriend at the time was curious about mountaineering and was wondering how I did all this stuff and wanted to come along. And so we dealt with some things on that mountain with some other members of our group interpersonally, coached them basically informally. And before we ever came home from that trip, before we left Seattle, I proposed, we got married. And since then, we have been doing trips to Belize, to Patagonia. We do races together. And through doing that work, it occurred to me by being the best version of me, I attracted someone who really cared about that part of me and encouraged me to do those things and separate from her. Uh, and so working with other adults felt really natural because I noticed that they were who I used to be. They felt stuck. They did not see a future for themselves. They didn't know when they were going to see their kids. All of those things I could speak to pretty directly, while also talking about the value of doing the next thing that you don't want to do or that is difficult in order to attract those people who really do fill out your community and support the best version of you.
Yes, thank you for sharing. Tell us more what you recognized or realized after you divorced and what you did new, what you did different. So not to make the same choice or yeah, because some people say like, oh, I met a new person and again the same things happening. Like we understand when we understand the laws, yes, like everything is attracted. Yes, like everything is resonating, all this energy, and people attract other people by the way how they think, they feel, they act, and other people who are the same at the same frequency. This is how they get attracted to each other, like magnet. Yeah. So let's speak about this. How it is important, like for people who maybe went through divorce or at that stage. How it is important to understand that it is not about other people. It is all about us. Yes, and it is not that somebody is wrong or somebody is bad. It is just sometimes it happens that people just are not aligned, like in different channels. It is not that people one is bad or one is good, and they just have arguments and don't want to continue marriage. They can be all good people, right? But they just
Absolutely.
have different channels like AM and FM, right? Like different programs. And if you are in AM, you cannot hear FM. You have to flip to different frequency to start listening other programs. So people sometimes they live together, like physically, they together, but they are like dwelling in parallel channels, and that is why they never connect. So what was new in your life? What you realized to change in yourself to really, as you said, you became yourself, you started loving what you do, you started doing that, and this is how you attracted your life partner who you are happy with now.
Yeah, it took a pause. I realized I didn't need a partner. I needed to be my own best friend to work on me and to really know what was important to me, like dig into my own core values and then look at where in my life were those core values showing up? And they weren't, quite frankly. I was following along with the daily routines and the demands that are put on all of us, right? Work and entrepreneurship and kids and all the rest, and not really taking time to express what mattered to me. I created a vision. Here's where I want to be in 2 years. And I was really clear about sharing that with people. And the people who loved that vision were ready to join in. They're ready to help me out without me asking. They'll say, oh, I know somebody who does this thing, or I know somebody who is in this world. And they'll want to connect you because they do care about you. It's just like running a business where if you don't communicate your vision clearly with everyone involved in the business, they may be working really, really hard. They just may not be working on the thing you want them to be working on. And so making sure that I worked on me, that I knew what I wanted, and that I was communicating it clearly began to create that community of people.
Yes, it is so true what you said that knowing what you want, yes, what you want, what is non-negotiable things. Because we can compromise, of course, we cannot communicate with people and just tell that, okay, I want this, and I don't accept anything else. I just only want this, and another person will say, I only want this, and this is never happen things, right? So of course it is good to compromise for things which are like not our principles, not our core values. Yes, we can never compromise on core values, because this is how we will betray ourselves. Yes, and when we betray ourselves, it never ends well, because we will suppress emotions, we will feel bad about ourselves, we will feel bad about that person because that person pushed us to betray ourselves. And this will not, and also when we suppress emotions again and again, it will go to depression. Yes, like this is, yes, this is different diseases, and it is not good. So it is always, well, as you said, to know who you really are. Yes, and maybe not to start new relations before you understand really like who you are, what is important for you, what is non-negotiable. Yeah, what are your core values which you never will compromise. Yes, and I think that it will be fair and honest to discuss this. If you want to start,
100%.
yes, it is will be very fair to discuss also, to tell that this is me, this is my values, this is what I can compromise, this is what I don't compromise. Yes, and see, because if we share it openly, it will be fair, and that is, if that person accepts and says, yes, this is also my core values, I'm happy that we are the same in these values, right? So it can be even be more connection, right? Connection. And if the person says, no, I thought this, I have totally different values, so it is better even not to continue, right? Why to get into relations and then find out that you have totally different values. Like one wants to go holiday in south, and another one wants to go in the north, right? And every time there will be argue who wants to go to the where, right? It is just, of course, I just said like a example, but maybe that one we can't compromise. One time go there, one time there, but there are other things in life that really important. Yes, and that's why every time when you say no to yourself and by telling somebody yes, you don't feel well. Yes, you feel like you have to betray yourself again, and it doesn't contribute to good relations.
Yeah, and whether it is a life partner or a business partner, if you have communicated those core values and they actually care about you or the partnership, they're not going to ask you to compromise your core values. They're going to understand them and they'll partner with you where it matters, where they can, and they'll seek out other partnerships where there's no alignment there. And I think that's super healthy, especially in the business world. The other thing is the core values are great, but without a vision of how to incorporate those, I think it is harder to stay aligned. But when you really know where you're going, it makes decisions super easy. It makes yes and no really, really easy because it either aligns or it doesn't. And so you find yourself compromising less when you take the time to focus in on where you want to be.
Yes, very true. And also, as you said, that understanding yourself and loving yourself, like accepting who you really are. You don't want to like fit yourself to somebody else, like fit yourself to somebody else's expectation, because it will not be natural. People can pretend that they're feeding somebody, but they cannot pretend for years, right? So it will be time when you just get fed up like with that, and it's like why I tired to fit in myself to somebody's expectations. Yeah, so it is really good to be who you are, and to acknowledge yourself, your wins, your failures, and understand that you are not perfect, and be honest about this. Yes, this is my strong strength, And this is my weaknesses. Yes, can you support me in my weaknesses? Maybe usually people when they are together, one is in something strong, another is in something else strong, and this is how they complete each other, right? So they're not the same strong at the same things and not weak at the same things. Yeah, so this honesty and being transparent and loving yourself as you are. And it doesn't mean to be egoistic, like people can think, oh, like egoistic love himself. No, if you don't love yourself, if you don't acknowledge yourself for your wins, don't appreciate who you are, you will not be able to love somebody else. Yes, because you cannot love somebody not loving yourself. It is not love, right? Because to love somebody else, you have to be happy. You have to
Hmm.
be happy with yourself. It is like a jar when we pour the jar, right? Pour water and water flows out. Yes, when you are full and then you give this happiness and love to other people. You cannot be empty and give other people. If empty, you will be expecting other people to fill your jar. Yes, this is how
Mm.
people. I know that some people they say, oh, like my husband or my wife should be do this to make me happy, do this to make me happy, do this. But actually it is not fair, right? Like to start a relation and expecting that person to do these things to make you happy. You should be happy yourself to give happiness to other person, right? Like to be who you are, happy with yourself, of course, setting goals, growing, enjoying this process, and sharing this happiness with other people. Not is not use or look at other people as they have to feel your emptiness.
Yeah, I think people cannot make us happy. They can contribute to our happiness, but you cannot make an unhappy person happy.
Mhm.
That's not, you can't do that. And so I was just speaking with someone yesterday. We talked about, yeah, we hear the phrase relationships are 50-50, but really they're not. Because if I give 50% and my wife is having an off day and she's giving 45%, there's a gap, right? So relationships are 100 and 100. You both have to show up. The relationship is the third piece of that. I mean, we come to that relationship as a whole, not as a broken piece that needs something else. And what we create out of that, just like entrepreneurship, what we create out of that comes from us showing up as our full selves.
Yes, and also I liked how you said that you took the gap, right? Like you took
Mm-hmm.
time and you dedicated 2 years to know who you are, do what you love to do, what is important for you, and rebuild yourself. You said that you wrote your self-image, who you will be in 2 years, and you started building. And this is so important. People who are listening to us, really, it is such important because when we look how our self-image was built, it was built by other people, our parents, teachers, people who
Mm.
were in our circle. When we were infants, we were 1, 2, 3 years old. It's like we were as a sponge. What you put sponge in, it will absorb that fluid. Yeah, you put sponge in wine, it will absorb wine. You put sponge in milk, it will absorb milk. So what other people were telling us who we were, this is we accepted as truth. Yes, and we carry this self-image of ourselves all our life. But it is so important to stop for a minute and ask yourself, am I really this person? Is it really like those people who told me who I am, what they knew about me? Our parents, even if they want the best for us, they don't know much about us. They don't know about our strength, our genius, our talents and gifts, which are unique. This is only we who can discover that. Yes, and it usually comes with something that we love to do and we enjoy, and we don't even understand, realize how time passes because we are in the process and it is like in the flow, right? And when we really start putting attention, what makes us enjoy, what we love to do, and this is how we can develop our gifts, and this is how we can write our new image, yes, and seeing ourselves as we succeed in that direction, which we can be the best. Yes, because each of us have talents and gifts, and they are unique. It means that there is no one in this planet, in the past and in the future, who will be exactly like you are, yes, or I am. And we can have that uniqueness, which we find it out. And when I speak about success and fulfillment, for me, it always is related to know who you are, like what are your gifts, and develop those gifts. And this is where we do what we really love to do. This is where we are the most efficient and productive. We get the best results. We create the biggest impact, and this is what makes us fulfilled. And this is when we feel fulfilled. This is when we feel happy.
Yeah, I like the imagery of the sponge because we do absorb a lot of beliefs that maybe are not our own. And so taking that gap, taking that pause maybe allows us to empty the sponge a little bit, to squeeze it out, to lose the pieces that don't really fit. And then the vision piece of it allows us to start behaving like that person would, that vision that we have of ourselves in the future. And so we start soaking those beliefs up now. Like, yes, I am that person who, whatever, gets up at 5 a.m. and does the work, or runs every day to accomplish this next thing, or whatever the vision of yourself is. But stacking those small wins again allows us to start to fill that sponge with a different set of beliefs, because I am the person who did that. Now I have evidence.
Yes, exactly, exactly. We can build ourselves and become whoever we just want, like what we create the image of that person. And when we start thinking, feeling, and acting from that personality which we see in future, as you said in your case, 2 years from that time, you already build yourself, and that person already was waiting for you because it was already there, just yourself in the different frequency, in the different level of awareness. Yes, and this is when you start making decision as that person, when you start thinking as that person, when you start everything like speaking with people, setting your boundaries, what you expect and what you accept and what you don't accept anymore. Yes, so this is all step by step building your new personality. And when you read the script, it is literally, I think you wrote the script. Yes, it is not that you just thought and that's all. You have to, as a act technique, right? Like in actors, actresses, they get the script, they read the script, they repeat it, and they internalize the script, they embody it, and they become that person. So when we see them in the movie, we even don't think that it is a different person, right? But in life, it is totally different person. But they internalize that identity so well that when we watch the movie, we are totally in that movie, we are totally in that person, and we just think that it is their natural natural personality. And this is exactly what we can do. We can just think about different people who we admire, who we really like some features, and we can um, go get those features in our script, and we can build one at a time, different habits. Yes, the way we speak, the way we dress, the way we communicate, everything can be changed by just changing that image and having it in our mind and acting from that image and not more anymore from our past one.
And I'll tell you, the possibilities that were available to that version of me that I saw were different than the possibilities that were available to me in the moment before I started seeing that. And I started noticing, oh, here is a thing I could be curious about, or here is someone I could go talk to. But until I knew where I was going, or at least a version, a rough idea, then then I didn't notice those things.
Yes, because you allow yourself to think bigger than your current things, right? And when you start thinking bigger, this is how, like, it is like getting bigger vessel. It means that more will start coming in. Yes, when your vessel is small, you come to the sea with spoon. You can only get spoon of water, right? There is a sea of
Mhm.
ocean. So then you go, you take like maybe one bottle, right? Like you already bring bottle. But when you come with big container, or you put pipe and you fill your swimming pool, right? So it is all our limitations, like what vessel we bring with us, like how we think. If we think we can expect this much, this is what we will get. If we think big, we identify ourselves that this is natural for us to expect that in life, and we start demanding it. And because we are that person, and we know that this is what we deserve, this is what is our right, this is how things start change. People, situations, opportunities all start coming to fill your container because you made it wider.
And like you said, it's identity. When I was younger, I was not a runner. I hated running. I was a baseball player, and running was always associated with punishment. I
Mhm.
never identified myself as a runner. And it just so happened through a group of people that I met. I met someone who was running 50-mile races, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't think that was a real thing. And he said, "But you come from a mountaineering background, and it's just like that. And it's just a shift in perspective." He said, "It's a long day on the trail, and you've had lots of long days on the trail. It's just running instead of carrying a heavy backpack." And so when I thought about it differently, it made me realize that possibilities are everywhere, and of course I could do that. And so little by little, I trained up to do it. But I had run 350-mile races and still did not consider myself a runner. That's an identity thing. I'm this other stuff. I'm not a runner. I'm not good at it. I'm not this. I'm not that. And of course, most of the world, when you say that to them, they're like, "Well, if you run 50-mile races, I got news for you. You're a runner, right?"
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And when you thought what is possible for you from like 0 to 50, and now you run 100 miles. So you see, like you even extended those beliefs that you it was hard for you even to believe 50, and now you run 100, and you say everybody can do that with proper training, right? So how much you extended your awareness about yourself and understand that everything is possible. It is just what we allow ourselves to believe and what we allow ourselves to expect. This becomes our reality. Like beliefs is everything, like what we believe they achieve. And that is why it's so important to question ourselves, like really my beliefs aligned with my goals, or maybe I extend my goals, understanding that if I alter my beliefs, I will alter my reality. So which reality I want, and then based on that, we can alter our beliefs. And when we alter our beliefs, we will start thinking different, we will start taking different actions. Action, reaction will bring us different results.
Yeah, it's not can I do it, it's how can I do it. You first have to decide, is that a thing that's worth your effort? Because it can be done. Everybody knows, I think, there are people doing magical things or what appear to be magical things, but in reality, they dreamed it. They thought this is a thing that's worth my time and energy. This fits my skill set. And then they just did the next thing every day and just do the next thing. I tell my clients all the time, you are a verb, not a noun. And whatever you think of yourself right now as a noun changes the next time you do something different. And so, what is that different going to be for you? Is it going to be productive, or is it going to be, I'm going to go home and doom scroll on social media? That's not probably going to help you become that better version of yourself. So, where are you going to put your efforts? Because there is no doubt that you are going to change, that you are going to do something new. You cannot stay the same. That is not a possibility. And so, what will that change look like for you? And that comes wholly down to what you decide to do next.
Yes, yes, that's all up to you. And as a big journey, long journey, we don't think about how to get to destination and keeping in mind the end destination, right? We see the route, and we from this 0 point we go to A, then we go to B to go to C. Yeah, so we can do the same in every area of our life. Set the big goal, and then see what are the goals are between, and focus on each on time. Yes, just because if you sit and think about very big thing, of course you will start procrastinating because you don't get any idea how to get there. because you can never connect the dots when you look forward. You only can connect dots when you look backwards. Yeah, I like this quote of Steve Jobs. Yes, because when we have big goals, we never know how to achieve it. We even don't need to know. We should only take the first step and see what I can do in my situation with my what I have. Yes, like my asset resources, what I can do now. And then when you take first step, then the second will be revealed. It's like it will be open during your move. But if you're just sitting and thinking, oh, I have to plan everything, I have to know in details, it will never happen. You just sit there for all your life and nothing changes. So it is really important to understand making decision and acting, taking the first step is really so important. And you can
It
get
often,
there. Mhm.
yeah, it often doesn't matter what you decide. It matters that you decide and just make the next move. When we run big races, we don't see the finish line, but we can make a plan. The next aid station is 4 miles away. Let's just get to that 4 miles, then I'll reassess. When we get up for a climbing trip at 2 a.m., it's dark. We can't see very far, but it doesn't mean that we wait for the sun to come up because you would never make the top before the storms come in. And so you go as far as your headlamp will allow you to go. And when you get there, you go as far as the headlamp will allow you to go, and you just do little steps one after the other.
Yes, and it's true for everything in life. Yes, everywhere you just set big goals, set an immediate those goals which will get you there, and focus and believe in yourself. Yes, because when you believe in yourself, you love yourself, acknowledge your wins. This is how you will win.
Yeah, I think knowing this is conceptually kind of easy, at least for my clients. They know they need to do something, but they don't know what to do. They don't. You say do something, or I'm a verb, but what am I supposed to be doing? And so I kind of break it down for them. Like, is there an achievement, one achievement that you want? Some of them may be working on a certification. They might be working on, I want to run a 5K. I want to work out 5 days a week or 3 days a week, whatever. That could be one. Is there something you want to learn? Do you want to cooking? Do you want to take a dance class? Do you want an entrepreneurial? Do you need to meet someone? Make that phone call. I think novelty is a huge piece of it. I think you should do some things just because they're weird, just because they're different. I was always able to play almost any sport. I can just pick it up kind of naturally and be okay at it. I wasn't great, but I could never ride a skateboard. And so my son and I this year decided we're going to figure out how to ride a skateboard. Just because. And what we're really doing in these cases is interrupting patterns. Every time we disrupt the pattern, we make room for the next thing that we actually are working towards. And then we're notching those little wins. Like, okay, I can ride a skateboard 10 feet. Okay, I can ride a skateboard around the corner. Okay, I can. It's meaningless. That's not that important. It's that we decided there's something to work towards, and then we made some progress because nothing is motivating like success. Every time we do something well, we're ready to do the next thing. And by doing something that's nonsensical, it kind of sheds light on really all of this can be nonsensical. It's not that important usually. But when we do throw ourselves into the things that feel important to us in the moment, man, we can achieve so many great things.
Yes, important to decide and do it. Yes, decide and do what you can do. Little progress, congratulate yourself, celebrate, and you will feel like a winner. It will give you more stimul and more motivation and excitement. Yes, you could do this, something you didn't believe you do, and then you do it. You see you can do it. It means that you can do bigger, next one step, and this is how we grow.
That's the one. Then you believe that you can do the bigger thing, and
Mhm.
then you do the bigger thing, and then you're doing running 100 miles or starting a business or hitting this revenue goal or that revenue goal.
Yes, and when you're true to yourself, you also will attract the right person in your life who will appreciate for who you are and will love and support you. Yes, and it will help you to develop those strengths which you are. Yes, and you don't need to betray yourself and compromise
Mm.
if you don't have the right person. And it is very important to have support, yes, to have that relations which really add value to your life. Yes, bring happiness, add value, compliment yourself, that you can grow, to have someone who can be there for your support, yes, for your growth, and celebrates your wins with you.
None of us do it alone. There are no successful people who have done it 100% themselves. They had to get the right break. They had to make the right contact. They had to have somebody who could fix this problem that they could never quite get their head around. They had to have the discussion with someone who allowed them to see things from a different perspective. But sharing is just the most important piece of it, I think, because entrepreneurship is lonely.
Yes, yes. That is why it is so important to have a right people in your circle, community of people who see big vision of you, who support that vision, who believe that you can achieve your big dreams and goals. And this is what gives you that necessary fuel. Yes, like for your fuel, you add another fuel from your friends, your colleagues, your team members, your friends, yes, your life partner. So it all contributes to success.
Mm, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ellen, for this amazing interview and your
You bet.
yes. And before we wrap up this episode, if there would be one thing that you would like to share, to really something that was important for you, like where you are today, how you went through those challenges, what would be that?
It's to speak up, to allow people to see who you are. It oftentimes we feel this spotlight effect, like maybe we're doing things wrong or I'm not going to live up to someone's expectations. And as soon as I started really sharing who I was, the things that mattered, um, everything shifted. Everything shifted, and I was invited into new groups. I was a new partnership showed up, a new relationship showed up, and all the things that matter to me have become part of my daily life. And so, really opening up and stepping into who you are. You have no right to play small. I love that quote. So just show up as you are and take up space.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, that's so wise. Yeah, so wise words. Yes, love yourself, believe in yourself, and surround yourself with people who accept you as you are and who support you. Yes, and this that you don't need to compromise and betray yourself. Yes, be and enjoy who you are and grow, of course, set big goals and do it not alone, do it together with your team members, with people who you want also to see in your journey for success, and who you also can support and believe in their dreams as well.
Well said.
Thank you so much, Alan. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I wish you the best and see you again somewhere in the future in our future episodes.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome.